Welcome, everyone. We're here at our winter beverage session in Dallas, and with me is Chris Clark from Third Day Beverages. They've only been around for a year, yet they've had tremendous success, and he's got no experience in the industry. So we're going to get into all that and break that all down. But first, we're going to get into the origin of his company. So, Chris, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on all the success you've had.
Thank you, Joe.
And yet, tell us your origin story.
Okay, so yes, the company's been around for about 2 years, but it took us a long time. I retired from the military, so it's natural that I would become a bottler in a beverage industry, right? Yeah, perfectly natural. So after we did that, we bought a piece of land in Tennessee, built a family farm out there, and that land had a spring on it. And this spring puts out 600 gallons a minute of 52-degree mineral-rich spring water, like fire hydrant coming out of a rock. And we just thought, okay, well, that's what we'll use for our house, and we'll do other things. And then, that was about 5, 6 years ago. And then people would come over and they would start to drink our water, and they really loved it. And my wife and I were on board in my military retirement. So one day on a cocktail napkin, we decided, hey, let's go ahead, and we're waiting for our daughter to come out of a little dance thing. And on this cocktail napkin, we said, what would we do if we ran a beverage company and bottled our spring water? What would we call it? What would we do with it? And so that was in late 2023 when we actually started writing that down. And then we decided to pursue it and try and get FDA and EPA clearance on our spring so we could get that certified as a bottled water source. And that took a lot longer than we had anticipated. We could probably do it shorter, but again, we had no experience.
Well, what is the process of getting that clearance?
So the EPA first has to clear you to take it, because you can't be depriving a tree snail or an endangered trout species. It's 10 tablespoons of water that it gets from your spring as it flows down and down and down and down. So you need permission to take that.
Yeah.
And then they have to approve your engineering. And then the FDA you have to do all kinds of tests so that the FDA certifies it as a good source for potable water. Make sure it doesn't have nasty contaminants, radioactive material, stuff like that in it. So those are the two permissions that you need.
Okay.
And you need them to come in congruently so that you can actually now start piping and do everything else you need to. So that's what we did. And we started off, and it took until February of 2024. So right about 15 months. And we got our first bottled water back. And we were so excited. We were standing there at the third-party warehouse. We got pictures of the truck backing up. Like, here we go. It's the launch of our company. This is wonderful. And we had, we'd been to a few gyms that we go to, a few grocery stores, a few local convenience stores, a few local coffee shops, all of it just there in Middle Tennessee. And, there are a lot of people who said, well, when it comes in, we know you've been working on this for a while. When it comes in, we'd love to carry it. So we came out with a singular SKU, just straight bottled spring water, nothing fancy. It's a great premium spring water. And that's what we went with. And one of the guys who was working with our company at the time, we had listed our product on Range Me. So now we got the bottles. He decided he's going to take photos of them and put the photos of the real bottles on Range Me. And that's when he saw over that ECRM has this thing going on. And it was 3 days before the winter beverage session in Chicago last year. So we decided let's call them up and see if we can get in. It's way past the registration deadline, but let's see, right?
Yeah.
Go for broke.
Worth the call.
It was. And boy, was it worth the call. So we went there. We were expecting, okay, maybe we'll just get an education. It'll be, none of us came from the beverage industry. So now we'll understand, what are buyers looking for? How does a 10-minute speed dating appointment work with ECRM? How does any of this work? How does distribution work? How do those things happen? So we went, and surprisingly, we ended up getting some great feedback from that, as well as some interest in our product, which we didn't think would happen right off the bat. So, okay, this is really going to work. And we met other people in the industry. We learned a lot. And then we started spending more time on ECRM's website. That brought us to some of the things how we could self-educate. Then we decided, okay, we know right away we're booking for the summer session in Dallas. And by then we had 5 more SKUs come out. We had our sparkling spring water. We had flavored spring water. This is what we're going to be.
Which is delicious, by the way. I tried some last night.
Thank you. Thank you. We're very proud of that. It's a wonderful thing, So as that goes by, we show up in Dallas for the summer session. We're thinking, all right, maybe 1 or 2 people will get interested. And then we did a lot to prepare for Dallas. That had a big impact on the success.
What are some of the kind of things you did?
So I love the fact that we get a list of all the people that we have an
Mhm.
appointment with, even a month or so out.
Yeah.
So we start doing research on those companies, see what it is they're looking for, see what their customer base looks
Yeah.
like. We start to determine. Then we make a little intel packet on each
Mhm.
company that we sit down and meet with, from the buyers right on up to the company themselves. Then that allows us to say, okay, do we have first what they're looking for?
Okay.
We think they do, or they probably wouldn't be meeting with us. And so let's see. That decides then, okay, well, how should we proceed with them? And then that gives us an action plan that we can present in that 10-minute time frame.
Yeah.
What we'd like to do with that action plan is design one that prevents as little risk to the buyer as possible, right? Because we know that they're putting a risk when they put a new SKU on their shelf. Will it sell or will it not? And so we try and, okay, how are we going to handle it from a velocity standpoint? That's going to be a concern for them. How about from the margins? Well, we can show them that on paper, and that erases that concern. How about differentiation? They get to taste our product, see that it's completely clear, has no dye. Okay, we can check all those boxes. So what we then suggest is an 8 to 12 week test run in a percentage of your stores. You pick them. That'll give us a nice good quarter that we can look back and see what your margins and velocity truly were. We can see what it looked like and how it performed. At the end of that test time, if you're not satisfied, we'll do 100% buyback to include shipping on your product. Well, how can you say no
No
to
risk.
that?
Yeah, no risk at
No
all.
risk to them. And what's turned out is, in fact, it's been a great reception. And they found that it has the velocity and margins that are outperforming some seasoned veterans in the industry of beverages. And that's been a shock to us.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect for velocity. So I had my ideas of what I wanted them to sell, but I had no idea how realistic that was, not coming from the industry. When we got some of the early margin calls back, and we're outperforming some national bestsellers 2-1. That was pretty remarkable. So that was all due to the prep and due to the things that we learned, just getting able to sit down and talk to the people. And then we believe that the product itself sells itself. It's really good. I know everybody thinks that, right? About their product.
But you actually have proof
Yeah.
that it's doing it. And then, so from that first session you went to, what business came out of that one? Because you got more after that.
Yes. So business is okay to mention names?
No, you can't. If you're on the shelves, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're about to be on the shelves of a lot of them that came out. And it took a while for them because we had to wait for their reset to occur. And so after we pass all their test market for the resets to occur. But yeah, we picked up a bunch here in Texas. We picked up, HEB. We picked up Texas-born gas stations, Racetrack. And then those came out. One of the other interesting things that came out, and this you don't see at other trade shows. Other trade shows seems to be competitive. Everybody's standing there, and all the buyers walk by, and you're hoping to fish and catch one in and reel it into your section. And this, we can all be friends, right? Because a rising tide can lift all ships. We're not in competition with everybody here. There's lots of beverages on shelves for people to choose from. If they're going to choose a protein shake, they're not going to choose my spring water. If they're going to choose an energy drink, they're not going to choose the protein shake. So we can all lift each other up. And one of the other vendors that I met at the ECRM event in Dallas over the summer actually said, well, we know some people in the distribution business that will pick you up for the U.S. Navy ship stores. And that might really work out. Why don't you get in touch with them? And so just that was something that even happened offline as a result of networking through ECRM and just being here and networking with other vendors.
Yeah. Well, I think that's important. What you're doing. First, I'm blown away. In fact, you have no experience. Everything you're learning everything on the fly as you're doing it. But also, you're taking advantage, and I think this is important for brands to know about. You're taking advantage of every single opportunity to soak knowledge from every single brain that you interact with.
Oh, yes.
So you're talking to. Obviously, you're getting feedback from the buyers themselves, but also from the other brands or other speakers or industry experts. From the roundtables from the last week. Talk a little bit about the convenience session that you were just at, because we were there together, and you had a lot of success from there, but also you engaged with a lot of people there.
Oh, yes. So the convenience session was great. First when we booked it on paper and we looked at it, a lot of people look at a winter convenience session. It's not a great time per se if you look at the reset calendars of convenience stores. And so that might dissuade some people from going. And we thought, no, that's actually a perfect opportunity to go because they finally have let their hair down. They're not busy. They can explore new brands. So we went to the convenience session. One of the things I really love are the fireside chats.
Mm-hmm.
So we arrived at the convenience session early, got our booth set up. Here we go. We're going to go to the fireside chats. And one of the ones I was really looking forward to was Derek's from BP. And all of a sudden, something came up at our booth, and we had to go back up and take care of it. I missed his fireside chat. I was like, oh, terrible. So we get set up for the Sip and Social that night, and Wayne Bennett comes walking by, and he had introduced himself already and tried some of our product, loved it, and he saw that we had a sparkling spring water. And I didn't know this. I wasn't at Derek's session, but apparently Derek was calling out that, hey, we're looking for more sparkling spring water brands, even though we're past our reset. So if you know any. So Wayne walks Derek up to the booth, BP, 6,900 stores. And he's like, hey, here, this is the line. This is what we have. Hand him a bottle of sparkling spring water. He's like, well, can I have this? Pretty much why I gave it to you, right? Funny guy. And he did. So he took it that night and saw him the next day, ran to me. He's like, that was amazing. I'm going to send my buyer over, have her talk to you. Let's get this going.
Awesome.
All that just from talking to people in network. But your fireside chats, your panels that you hosted, learning from one of the other people we ran into, Tia Ellis from Wildflower. That was incredible. We had emailed a little bit beforehand. Then we happened to find ourselves just sitting at the round top at lunch. Met some other people that Tia had helped launch with their product. Had a real connection with those guys. They're HeroLink, and HeroLink did a great thing. If you're not familiar with it, it's a wristband that first responders use. You can scan it with any smartphone. Gives emergency contact, medical info. It's got great stuff. And after my nice, safe job in the military for 23 years, I got a safer job and became a cop. Did that for 5. And it's funny because in reality, it was safer. But it's still obviously a very dangerous job, and it comes with a lot of trauma. So to see what those guys were doing, I thought, wow, this is really great. I wonder how I can help them connect. So went back, introduced what I learned about their company to our local sheriff and let it take off, right? Who knows what kind of impact that can make. But then to go to the resource sessions afterward from just everything that we're doing about the innovation, hearing the speaker speak like Tia and talk about what you can do to develop your slide deck better, what the retailers are looking to hear, what they definitely don't want you to say. Those are things. And so, there's me and the other people from my company, and we're just taking notes like it's our first day in school. When the professionals speak, maybe listen, put it into practice. That got us through a great military career, right? And no different here.
Well, I have to give Wayne a shout out because he put together the lineup for that convenience summit, and then you're also watching the videos. You're checking out the blog posts. So you're really maximizing every resource of information that you can.
We are. In fact, on ECRM's homepage, there are some great links that have just recently been added. If you haven't been there recently, things like co-packing and what we can do with that. The resources are there to educate us. And whether you come from the industry or not, I think the biggest danger is we think we know it all at any given point, right? And the military teaches us you're never a master of your craft. You're a master student of your craft. So get around other people, take in every resource you can, sort through it, figure out the data, and then how to put it together.
Yeah, well, you also participate in a lot of everything that you can. You were in you went to the summit.
Yes.
You were in the roundtables.
Yes.
In fact, I did an interview a little while ago with Andrew Allen about his roundtable that he moderated. And one of the main, in fact, on LinkedIn, I led with the thing that you said at the roundtable, but I didn't realize. But also the retail rodeo. Scavenger hunt. You guys participated. You with your daughter, and talk a little bit about that because these are also great ways of just engaging with people.
Sure. A lot of times you look at an event like this online, you see what their proposed agenda is, and you see fluff, fluff, fluff. I don't care. Get me to the sale part. First off, life is life. You should enjoy it, right? So if they're offering, hey, we're going to go play horseshoes, go do it for crying out loud, right? Life is a dance you learn as you go, but at the end, you'll be glad you danced. So when we look at this, we looked at, first off, the ECRM in Destin, which for the Convenience Summit, and the roundtable experience. That was great. Now, we're all done with our appointments for the day. It's really easy to just check a box, go up to your hotel, go get some dinner. You had roundtables set up. We had a discussion topic for each thing that we could sit there and discuss. And I'm thinking, all right, it's with other buyers and sellers. Well, we picked a subject matter that we wanted to do, and we sat down. There was nothing but other vendors at the table. But the way we could all share information about what we've all learned was absolutely invaluable. And we were able to do that. I was able to share some of the things we've learned through ECRM with people. As far as, when you sit down and you talk to a retailer, find out what it is they're looking for, guys. All of them are looking for everything, the best of both worlds, right? They want insane profit margins, they want insane velocity, and they want you to be so uniquely different that your differentiation screams for itself, and they drive to their store just to buy it. But that's in fantasy land.
Yeah.
In reality, they're more focused on one or the other. So figure out what it is they're more focused on, and then how you can help tailor your offer to them. Maybe make some ECRM-based offers that if you do something within 30 days of this, we'll go ahead and tack on some free shipping or a 10% case fill up or something like that. Make it risk-free for people. And we learned that from participating in roundtables, as well as able to share what we've learned in those roundtables. And then we get to this one and the rodeo. Signing up for a retail rodeo, right? Okay, scavenger hunt, retail rodeo. It could be a bit nerdy, but could be a bit fun. Let's just get out there and do it. And I did. I'm the father of 7 children. And so of them, 6 of them are still at home. One is finally grown and out. So we're down to 6 children at the house. But we live on a 140-acre ranch in the middle of Tennessee. And, we've got horses, cows, all the animals in woods. So kids are running around. And,
it's a dream for them.
Yeah. My boys are 8 and 7 now, and they come inside the house in the summer and sweat is just coming down. Stuff is caked on. They've got a rock stuck in their shoulder, a stick in their ear. But obviously living the boys' life and having a blast. And they come in like, we're thirsty. So we're creating a beverage that will help them out. Well, now we care about what goes in their bodies and how we put that in. So to bring our children now to this, I thought, all right, this is a family-owned business. So I brought our eldest daughter on this trip. And she loves our product, knows all about it. And she has become the little merchandiser design. She works on labels, works on T-shirts for the company, stuff like that. And we're trying to teach them to be entrepreneurial and to be creative. So as we do that, I brought her and we signed up for this retail rodeo. So my 13-year-old daughter comes on the retail rodeo. We all get on this big bus and we go around to 3 different stores, right? We did H-E-B, we did Central Market, and we did a Tom Thumb. And on it, they give us this bingo card and it says, hey, this is the stuff you need to catch up and do. And surprise of surprise, you're going to form a team with the people near you on the bus. Okay, sounds good. So we go over our shoulder, we meet the people behind us on the bus, we form a team, we get off, we get on this scavenger hunt. The laughs, if you can't tell by the pictures from that thing, it was a blast. We made goofy faces at stuff. We had tons of fun laughing with everybody.
You had to pick certain, there were certain themes or things that you had to look for in the store and do a selfie around it. Right?
Yes, you had to do a selfie with your whole team around something like small, medium, and large of a product, or the most confusing product you've ever seen. A celebrity ad campaign, stuff like that. So,
and then you send it in, you
text it in, and the first person to fill up your bingo card and make bingo and do all these things is the winner. And yes, our team ended up winning.
They were first place.
Yep.
And I think what's really cool is it's based on the speed of completing the bingo row, which you have to get one from least one from every store, but also the creativity. Involved, and their pictures were very, very creative. I had a kick out of putting the video together with them, and I saw you guys pop up in there.
Yeah.
But also too, I mean, you make great relationships out of these things, and it's not just a store tour. Last week we were playing pickleball.
Yeah.
So we had a few teams. We had 20 people, and so we had the all 4 courts. And by the time we were done, and you'll probably see that this week too. The groups that were together for the pickleball, for the store tour, they're going to be meeting up at lunch. They're going to be meeting up at dinner, cocktails, and then you keep those relationships. And it's another aspect. It's a completely different experience, but that's the other half, right? One half is the meetings.
Yeah.
The other half is the networking and the socialization.
And I would actually flip it. I would say the first half is the networking and the socialization, because after all, life is relationships, right? And when we have those relationships, they do tend to last. Again, we still got great relationships with, my daughter is texting some of the buyers from Dallas or some of the vendors from Dallas that we ran into going, hey, I hope you're coming to this one because I can't wait to see you again, Miss April, and talk to you and stuff like that. Awesome. It is so neat to see people's responses with the relationships you create by putting us together in social events. And not just from being next to each other in booths, but from being together in social events.
Yeah, and you're doing something together. I mean, you're teammates, right? When you're on a team with somebody, like when we were playing pickleball, when you're on that team, winning or losing together, You can't replace that.
No.
And the fact that, I mean, that's why we try to keep everybody together in the same location. Like tonight, we're doing that fun restaurant
Yep.
that's got the games and everything. So that's going to be really cool to do as well. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is scaling, because again, you started your first beverage was ready a year ago, and now you went from nothing to several thousand stores. How did you figure out how to accommodate all of that?
Resources,
Mm-hmm.
right? We are not the masters of the universe. Somebody taught me a long time ago in business, there's three things you need to know. You need to know what it is you know.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know what it is you don't know. And you need to know somebody who knows what you don't know. That's all you need to know. So when it came time for scaling and doing things like that, through different connections we met in beverage industries, through utilizing tools like LinkedIn, and just talking to other people that we knew, and saying, hey, this is a problem I have. How would you solve it? Who would you help solve it? Who would you go to for distribution? Who would you go to for some co-packing? Who would you go to for production? Who would you go to for supply chain optimization? Who would you go to for transportation and third-party logistics? Who would you go to for all this? And that led into many conversations with many people. And we were able to pool all that information together and make decisions going forward and bring some more people on board with the company, do some other contracts with other third-party logistics, other production companies. You don't have to be the master at finding third-party logistics. There are companies that are even co-man. There are companies that say, okay, we'll handle supply chain optimization and production. And we'll do that for you. And it costs an X percentage, and we do it that way. So those are things that we didn't even know existed a year ago.
Yeah.
It was forcing us to say, okay, how do we do this? And realizing, don't try and do it all yourself. Don't try and build to scale. Utilize resources that already exist. And if you do that, the sky's the limit, right? If you get an order and you're in 0 stores and you want to be in 50,000 doors in 18 months, most people would say that's not realistic. I would say it's totally realistic from the resources we've found that are capable of doing it. The question is it realistic to do it in the ways that old mentality said it had to be done? Like, we need to just ramp up shifts at our one plant, or we need to go and order things 6 months out so we get the best price per penny. Your margin might shrink a little because you're bringing people on to help you get it done. But there's no replacing systemic growth, right? That is just, when you can grow like a catapult, that's the way it should be.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I love that thing you said. Know what you know what you don't know, and know the person
Who knows what you
who
don't
knows
know.
what you don't know. And here, just you're in the discovery hub, right? So you have a lot, and I'm sure when you're not in meetings, and if you spot somebody who's also on break, I'm sure you're talking to them
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. In fact, we did it in Dallas last year. We all know we did it in Chicago last year for winter beverage. We did it in Dallas. We did it in Destin. We're doing it again here. And though that downtime, the programmed in, it's kind of funny. You look at your schedule and you're like, I have an appointment, then I have a break, then I have an appointment, then I have a break. Can't we just get all the appointments together? No. First off, it gives you time to prep for the next appointment, change your mindset, get back to that beginning. And the other thing it does is gives you time to network with everybody else.
Yeah. And so you can really maximize every single second that you're here with all of that. The other thing, we talked about your prep. We talked about, the meetings themselves. Well, no, we talked about the prep. But what about the actual meeting itself? How do you handle those? Like, do you use slides? Do you, more discussion and all that? And then also, I want to get into a little bit about your follow-up after the meeting. So during the meeting itself, lay out how you do it.
Sure. We basically break our meetings into 3 categories: a retailer, a wholesaler, or a distributor. So that's who we're going to be meeting with, right? And so when we do that, for example, a retailer that they're going to need some DSD to carry a product through, to move it through. We sit down and we first off, we introduce ourselves. We let them introduce themselves. We usually let them speak first. Most retailers want to tell you about them and what they're looking for first. So we let that happen first. And if not, if they don't naturally pick up on that, we usually lead with a prompting question that makes them say, so tell us about blank company. And they tell us about them.
I mean, you've already researched them ahead of time.
Correct, but I want to hear it from their mouth.
Yeah, okay.
And that's very important. If somebody has the time to tell you their story, then they'll feel that you know them better. And I feel that way. By you taking the time to hear my story, I feel you know who I am better. And so when we do that, and then we go from that to a brief introduction of us, And this introduction has not changed since ECR has barely changed since ECRM of last winter. Beverage. We're kind of fumbling around our introduction, and how do we tell somebody who we are in 90 seconds or less, right? Because we only have 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And this one man comes over, and he's a buyer from a chain of retail stores in the Pacific Northwest. And he stands there, and he's a big dude, 6'5", maybe 4% body fat. I mean, just huge. Like you're wondering how this guy fit in his suit.
Yeah.
And he goes to shake our hand, and we shake our hand, we stick our hand out, and his hand comes close, and he doesn't touch our hand. And he says, "Before I do this, I need to know, is your spring Nestle water?" And we're like, "No, we own our own spring." He goes, "Okay, good." And he shakes our hand. So he said, "Okay, we better lead off with that next time, right? Like, let's let people know who we are and that we own our own spring." So that's what we do. Then we introduce ourselves. We say, "Hi, I'm Chris. I'm with Third Day Beverages. We own our own spring. It's right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. We began by bottling pure spring water. It's wonderful, mineral rich from the United States, just comes out of the ground at 600 gallons per minute, spring water." Then we decided we would add some bubbles to it and make it sparkling. Then we decided people want flavor, so we flavored it, added some extra electrolytes, and called it Lion. That's what we have. And as you can see, and I lift up the bottle on the table in front of them, it's all clear. It has no dye, no junk, not a nope, not here. We make it right now in mixed berry, pineapple, watermelon, and lemon lime. Which one would you like to try? Grab it from the cooler and pour them a sample. And then we talk about it.
Yeah. And then the rest is discussion.
Well, right. And the rest is discussion. By then, they've usually made up their mind. Is it something we're willing to do or not? And they might have a question. We just leave it to them. So that question becomes, how do you handle distribution? Will you ship direct? What do you do? Hey, how do you want to handle this next step? And so that's what we do. We talk about then, all right, what are our next steps? If they're just like, okay, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Well, then we usually keep prepared as an offer.
Okay.
An actual printed off piece of paper they can take with them. That is not common. I know people are afraid to put it down on paper, but you can put something down on paper. Something down on paper that says, look, this is our standard pricing. We will negotiate it separately with your contract depending on shipping and distribution, but this is our standard pricing guide. So now you know what ballpark you're in. And if you're willing to do something, to do a test run of your stores and do whatever, you pick a date. And if we put this to paper in the next 30 days, this is the incentive we'll give you for that. And we leave them with that paper. But then we follow up with it in an email and a chat, and we stay in touch with them. By then, we're all shaking hands. We offer them a beverage to go. And that's usually our 10-minute appointment. Done.
Awesome. I like that. I like that. That intro is great. That intro is great. And it's funny how it came from that meeting with that retailer. So, and the follow-ups, do you, how often do you do it? And do you prefer one way or another, email, text, whatever?
So, the expression, fortune is in the follow-up. They are not lying. You meet people here and they're very excited, but they're also very busy. One of the guys I met with today, so he's over all the bottled beverage for a grocery store distributor, and he's over beverages. Oh, and canned meat and cereal. So that guy's got all the manufacturers and distributors and everything for all of those 3 aisles. He's going to be a busy guy. Look at communication as you're mostly going to be one way. You're mostly going to be sending stuff to them. Here's an update. Here's a product. Here's what I'm doing. And we like to typically do it monthly at a minimum. If we're engaged with somebody toward moving to a deadline, we're moving to the test run, we're moving to something else, then it's weekly. And we specify that. Like, hey, on Fridays, we're going to do where we are. We'll touch base every Friday. And we'll go with that. Let them know. Do we always get a response? Nope. But they always know we're communicating with them. We're at least doing on our end, so nothing's a surprise. And then you get responses as they come in. And we set up, I much prefer email, and believe it or not, so does everybody else. For this interview, we both put our phones on Do Not Disturb, right? We can't be interrupted. So you can't always take a phone call or a text message. Emails work great. You can attach documents. It's a great way to do it. A few times we've gotten on some Zoom calls with people afterward. But mostly it's just been email. I'd say 99.99%.
Yeah, the Zoom calls is probably as you're getting closer.
Correct. As we're getting closer, or to introduce us to a new teammate or something like that as they want to go on.
And then you get to see them again in person here. So awesome. And then sometimes, like you said, some of these buyers here will have 150 meetings this week. So they're going to be buried. They may not have time to dig through their stuff. You may not hear from them for a month, 2 months. But I like what you said about, you do it regularly because they're going to see you. And that's important because unless the buyer completely says, listen, I do not have any interest at all in your product, then it's not a definite no. So you stay in touch. Don't annoy them. Stay in touch regularly
Yeah,
and stay front of mind. They appreciate that actually.
they do. And a no really means not right now.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a matter of pleasant persistence
Yes.
and just stay front of mind because again, I've had buyers tell me that they thank people for sending them a reminder email because they know things are going to get buried,
Yes.
and that happens. So just stay in front of them, or keep them appraised of what's going on. What's
Exactly.
new.
I like to think of it that way. Look, I'm a very busy guy.
Mhm.
Like I said, I have 7 children, 6 of them still at home.
Yeah.
I have a 140-acre ranch that we take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
We have a company that does all these things. And so it can be anything like, I need a reminder of, hey, don't forget you're supposed to go to the dentist Thursday,
Yeah.
right? So my wife does a great job helping me with that. But anybody, even people in my business, are a great job of, hey, boss, did you follow up with these guys this week? Oh, thank you. That's on my list. I got to do that. And I'll make it happen. So just like I'm grateful to get reminders, I know they're grateful to get reminders too, because the enthusiasm, judge them by their enthusiasm when you meet with them the first time, and then realize that that's how they still feel about you. You're just getting buried in a world of weeds. So you got to be colorful to get through the weeds.
Yep.
That's what it comes down to. So just be colorful, bright, and happy, right?
Very true.
And so all of our communication, we never send hey, I haven't heard from you in 3 emails. If you want to continue this relationship, text me back. Like, I wouldn't text that person back, even if I liked their property, because again, everything comes down to the relationships that we have with the people. And if you build one, you can destroy it quicker than anything by trying to follow some script of following up that throws a hammer down. You're doing them a favor by getting your product in their store because it will increase their profit, because it will sell better than other things they have. But they're doing you a favor too, because they're a sales outlet for your product. It really does win for both, and neither party should ever be demanding on the other's time or route. So why is it we think as vendors that we should send a final communication? Like, if I don't hear back from you by Thursday, we'll cancel your test run or whatever. That's ridiculous. You spend all this time grooming it. They want it. They're just busy people.
Yeah, gotcha. So last question. You ready? You ready? You started with the one SKU. Now you have several flavors. What's next for Third Day Beverages?
So in 2026, we have developed and it's going to be launched. It'll be available at the summer beverage session, but a spring biotic, it's called. It is a probiotic spring water that has light hints of flavor and a light effervescent sparkle to it. But, as we look, our health is really important. If you look at Third Day Beverages, why is it Third Day Beverages? Anybody know?
Good question.
Oh, so our faith is very important to us. And in the Christian faith, the book of Genesis, in that book, God gathers all the water into one place on the 3rd day.
Okay.
And so what were we doing? We're gathering spring water and putting it in a bottle.
Yeah.
So Third Day Beverages just seem to be the right part. And it all started with, in Genesis, everything's perfect, right? Until man messes it up. And water's that way. In the beginning, water was created perfectly until we decide we're going to strip it all down, then try and put minerals back into it. So we just thought, oh no, we're going with straight spring water. So Genesis spring water. And then what became next was Lion. And after the Lion of Judah, this is an enhanced spring water. It's perfect beverage. It's an isotonic blend. It's not overdoing on electrolytes. It has no sugar, has nothing artificial, has none of the oses in it that you need to worry about. So with all of that, we thought, okay, this is going to be perfect. But we're always worried and concerned about what we put in our bodies. From every standpoint, right? I'm 55 years old. I'm running on a ranch, and I've got 6 kids. My youngest is 4. So, man, I'm going to look like Chuck Norris's younger brother by the time I'm 100, right? That's what I've got left to go. So maintain my fitness, maintain my health. All those things are deeply important to us as a family. I know they're important to other people, especially post-COVID. We're really concerned about what it is we're doing to our bodies now. And so to keep everything dye-free and natural, but sometimes there's other things we want. So to launch a line of stuff that has some probiotics in it, but still has the flavor, and all of it will always have a foundation of spring water. Spring water's got natural trace minerals in it that you can't get from any place else. If you're not getting enough in your food because your food isn't grown organically in mineral-rich soil, it can be organic, but if it's not in mineral-rich soil, it's not pulling those minerals out. They don't just fall out of thin air and land on your broccoli, right? Your broccoli pulls it out of the soil. So having spring water based drinks will always be our foundation as Third Day Beverages. So doing that, and I think that's what you're going to see first in 2026.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, because we just came last week was our vitamin and supplement session, and probiotics is a big thing right now, gut health, but also with GLP-1s.
Yep.
People on GLP-1s. GLP-1 support is big, and probiotics, obviously protein, hydration,
Yep.
taking care of the skin and the gut are all key things for people on GLP-1s. So that's a big area in that segment too, and it spills over into the other
It
categories of
does.
the store.
Yep.
So that's great. Well, listen, thank you for joining us. Congratulations on all of that success and the fast success you've had already. And I look forward to seeing it keep growing and expanding.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.